Guten Erev, Shabbos, Rabbi. I hope that we are continuing to steig and to use this time to grow closer to Hashem and to further our depth of understanding in both who we are and how to serve Hashem, in our relationships with our spouses, with our children, with ourselves, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this is really an unbelievable, unique time in growth. In serving Hashem. And of course, as we have said many, many times, everything is attitude. You could really be having a tremendous time right now. Of course, bearing in mind that the world is still in turmoil, both the the secular world and even our internal world. But nevertheless, there's a myriadic time over here for personal growth, and in our avodas Hashem. This week we have a Ramban in the beginning of Parshas Kedoshim. The Ramban says, what does it mean to be holy? The Ramban says, you know what it means? It means that even during the things that it is permitted for you to do, you should still do them in a holy manner. That means that everything that we do, you could technically, hey, listen, I'm going ahead and I'm eating kosher. Maybe I could eat it in the most gluttonous way possible. Says the Ramban, that's what the mitzvah of Kedoshim Tihiyu is going on. To do things that are permitted in a holy way. And in fact, if you go through Parshas Kedoshim, there's a whole bunch of mitzvahs that follow Kedoshim Tihiyu that don't seem to have anything to do with holiness. Don't steal and don't help your friend and don't do keep your wages and pay the wages on time, etc. Besides the fact that there's a whole bunch of sexual crimes afterwards. So what is it referring to? According to Ramban, every single space during your life and every single act that you have during your life, you should go ahead and you're able to do it in a more holy manner. And in fact, in the Mishnayos of Avos that we learned this past week, it says that all of your actions should be l'shem shamayim. That means you could go ahead and you could live your life really every single second as an act of service towards God. For example, a person who goes to sleep at night, 8 hours, a nice long shluf. He could either go to sleep just because I'm going to sleep, or he could say, I am going to sleep right now because I want to be awake and alert tomorrow so that I could do good at my job, so that I could earn money, so that I could send my kid to school and he should learn Torah. If he does that, then the entire 8 hours that he was sleeping, he is involved in a mitzvah. That's 8 hours of mitzvahs there for free. And when he goes to work, all of that hassle and all of that agmas nefesh and heartache and things that can happen at work, all mitzvahs. He's getting mitzvahs 24 hours a day. When a person goes ahead and he has a falafel, a nice good gishmaka falafel, and he orders 3 pieces of pizza with it and an ice cream cone for dessert, if he's thinking while he eats, I'm doing this so that I should have the proper nutrition to serve Hashem and I should daven mincha, then he is getting a mitzvah as he eats. That means you could turn every single act that you do into a mitzvah. Now, if you're eating the falafel and you're thinking, I'm doing this for Hashem, naturally you will eat in a slightly and mildly better manner. And eventually, once a person does mitzvah after mitzvah and his whole day becomes a service of Hashem, he becomes a changed person. He becomes a person who is aware of Hashem every single minute of the day. Now, of course, it takes a little work in order to get there, but you're able to do that. And I'm not talking about a high level. We're not even asking you to change too much of your life. Just be cognizant that there's Hashem around. We had a rabbi meeting this past week about what to, among other things, is there anything that, citywide we should be makabel upon ourselves? And one Rav there said, and correctly I believe, that right now is not the time to be makabel new things. Right now is just the time to shore up what we have already and to maintain, besides our sanity, but maintain our religious convictions and our religious services. Just make sure we're still davening 3 times a day and not going insane at our spouses or children is already a big enough Kabbalah. I don't think we could go ahead and start making new Kabbalahs. And I agree to that. But that means that we have to go ahead and just be cognizant during the day while we are trying to maintain our sanity in our homes, and that without all the normal functions that we have gotten used to as an American society, that we have to go ahead and be cognizant that we are serving Hashem. And the daily actions that we do can be done as mitzvahs. Let us be cognizant during the day of things that we're doing for Hashem. So you go ahead. Tonight you're going to have a Shabbos Suda, you're going to sit by the Shabbos Suda. It can either be done in, half an hour, let's just finish the Shabbos Suda, or we can say, as we cut the challah, I'm doing this for Hashem, I hope this is a good challah. And the chicken soup, and everything is done for Hashem. And then once you have the challah, and once you have the chicken soup, and you say, I'm eating this for Hashem, you're like, let's sing a song for Hashem. And you sing a nice Zmiris. And then you know what else you do? You go ahead, and you'll say, let's say a different Torah because for Hashem. And that changes. Everything was the same almost, except it became a higher level. Now you have brought Hashem into the meal, and you will feel different. And we say once you do a mitzvah, your whole soul gets elevated. So you feel different naturally. And that is the message of Kedoshim to you. Make every action that you have an act of service for Hashem. Don't change much. It's still the same 8 hours sleep. Now, long term, it might change you. But for now, don't change much. Just bring Hashem into your life. And when you go throughout your daily day, making sure that you go ahead and maintaining the religious standards that you set for yourself while there was a functional society, keep that up even when nobody's watching you. And we already spoke out how important it is to talk to Hashem daily. I stress again, I really believe it would be extremely beneficial if everybody were to be if you were to be makabel upon yourself, that go ahead and have a minimum time for Shemona Esrei. Because a lot of times Shemona Esrei, if you don't have to wait for a chazan or whatever, can take under a minute. I don't know how that's possible, but people tell me it happens. So you have under a minute. It's not, you have to put a clock on. Go ahead and make a minimum. 10 minutes be the best. 10 minutes Shemona Esrei? Yeah, you'll talk in English for 9.5 minutes. To Hashem. And it might be hard the first couple times, but then you'll think of things to say. Hey, Hashem, you know what? Can we have, can we have great shalom bayis? Can you help me with my children? Can you help me this? Can you help me that? Can you help me? There's so much to ask for once you know that you have an open line. And people think that, I want Mesiras Nefesh for Hashem, and this is the biggest Mesiras Nefesh. You don't have to go ahead and fight the Gestapo or fight other people outside that are not that are stopping you from learning Torah. You know who's stopping you from learning the Yetzer Hara. If you fight against the Yetzer Hara, that's just as good as fighting against the Gestapo. I have there was a person who was in not a shul in the tri-state area, and he was in the shul by himself, and somebody called the police that there's somebody in the shul. Obviously they're having a minyan. So the cop showed up. This big burly African American comes into the shul, and he's like, "Excuse me, what are you doing here?" So he's like, he had his tefillin on. He's like, "Well, these are tefillin, and we're gonna practice praying to God." And this cop says, "Well, you think that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants right now? He wants you to wear tefillin. He wants you to sakaras nefashis. He's Atzala over here, and you're going ahead and you're putting people in danger. You think that's what Hashem wants?" The guy's like, "Huh?" But the guy was saying a correct message. That the message is that you don't have to fight outside forces. If you fight inside forces, that's just as much Mesiras Nefesh. It's very, very hard to concentrate. Sometimes when the tension level goes up in the house, you have to go ahead and say, I'm going downstairs, whatever, to play basketball. I'm going outside to play I'm doing something just to de-stress, even though I'm not. And you got to de-stress and keep things in focus. That itself is very, very difficult. And just a message that, people are, had a little down that Mashiach didn't come. We have to understand that Tzaros don't automatically mean Mashiach is coming. And if something strange is happening on the world, it doesn't automatically mean Mashiach is coming. It's very nice that we have this at the forefront of our mind, that any second Mashiach can come. But Mashiach can come even if nothing is happening. And if something weird is happening on the global stage, it doesn't mean anything yes or more Mashiach. He could have come yesterday just like he could have come today, and he could have come tomorrow. I'm saying it has nothing to do with Mashiach. What does Tzaros have to do with? Tzaros have to do with doing tshuva. That's the only message we should be taking from here. Not that Mashiach is coming tomorrow. And therefore, That's the message that we have to take. We have to go ahead and firm up who we are. We have to go ahead and make those everything in our daily lives change just the cognization that we have of Hashem. And that's the message for Parshas Kedoshim. Tonight at the Shabbos Suda, go ahead and sing beautiful zmiros. Have an amazing time eating the good food. Have an amazing time on Sunday night eating good food. Just have in mind that you're doing it so you could learn better, so you could daven better, and go to work and learn better, and to earn money for Hashem. When you're at work and you're putting up with things, say, man, I'm earning money just so I could serve Hashem better. And this way you bring Hashem into all your actions during the day. That should be the message of Parshas Kedoshim. That should be the message of who we are. Have an amazing Shabbos and keep steiging. You guys are awesome. And again, shkech for tuning in.